What's up, y'all? Top of the day to you. I said that I wanted to get on here and talk really quickly about this GameStop situation. So, which some of us may or may not be paying any attention to, but we all need to be paying attention to. And so really quickly, because I don't think that it matters, the technical aspects of this. It really doesn't. But I saw somebody explain it in a really easy way online, which was like, say, I'm going to use this person's exact analogy. You go to your neighbor, Curtis. Curtis is like my favorite imaginary name. You go to your neighbor, Curtis, and borrow some eggs, right? You borrow a dozen eggs. And Curtis is like, sure, you could borrow. But I need my eggs back. And he's like, where? Okay. So you pay him $5 for those eggs. And you go to the farmer's market and sell those eggs. And, normally you go to the farmer's market, you sell those eggs, they're $5, and you get your $5 and you pay it back to it. To face it, it's just about tiding you over, right? Until, hopefully, the goal is that the price of eggs drops. So then you borrow the eggs from John. And then you go to the market and you sell the eggs for, the price of the eggs drops $1. And now the $5, you get to keep the $4, right? You've made a profit. So you go back and you give John his eggs back, but it only cost you $1. Ta-da, right? And so you get to keep the $4. So that's how these hedge funds work on a thing called a short. It's just called a short. And basically it's like, we will loan you some stocks, and then you're going to you'll trade those on a stock whose prices is going down. And that's how we make our money back, right? Here's the deal. And what these folks from Reddit did, and oftentimes people on Reddit are trash, but every once and again, they have a good idea. What they did is instead they saw that a hedge fund was shorting GameStop, and they decided, well, if we buy all the stocks, then when they go to sell it, the stock will be more expensive rather than less expensive, and they'll lose money. And GameStop will all of a sudden become profitable again. And that's what they did. And consequently, they bankrupted hedge funds. Literally, the hedge funds started losing like billions of dollars really, really, really quickly in the stock market. What you need to know is it's all imaginary. Value, price, it's imaginary. It's made up. The stock market is made up. It's made up by rich people to tell you how much something is worth. And what we watched happen was regular people were like, no, we'll tell you how much it's worth. And then they proceeded to bankrupt the wealthy by telling the wealthy how much shit was worth. And now wealthy Wall Street people want regulations so that regular people can't tell them how much the market is worth. And this is why I talk about the new economy, because the old one is as fragile as every other piece of white supremacist delusional edifice that exists in this society right now. It's all about to break, y'all. All of it is about to break. And so, if you don't leave with anything else from the GameStop situation, I want you to leave with, it's made up. Wall Street is made, and here's the thing, right? The stock market has the ability to plunge the nation into complete and total economic chaos based off of how rich people feel like playing with your coins, until we decide to play. And this is why collective economics is necessary, because those Reddit people weren't rich. Those Reddit people just happened to be like, hey, what if we all put our coins in here and did this thing? And what I want you to know is, just like every other white supremacist structure, delusional structure, the system was like, we'll sooner shut all this shit down. Platforms started blocking people from buying. Like, the story that this is fair and that it's just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and if you just work hard enough is a lie. It is a lie evidenced here, because these people from Reddit just played the game on the stock market like the stock market is supposed to be played. They just not supposed to be the players. And the stock market was like, we'll shut all this shit down sooner than to let you motherfuckers win at it. And that is the nature of capitalism. That is the relationship between white supremacist delusion and capitalism. Again, it's a death cult. It'll kill everything before it lets you win. But what I want you to know is that these folks, these Reddit people from who concocted this fantastic ass, let me play you at your game, we're simply demonstrating what happens when we collectively make effort toward interrupting a system. They didn't do nothing special. They said, let's tinker with their shit. And so I really am more interested in the ingenuity. I'm interested in two things. I'm interested in that real life example that the system is rigged and imaginary, that it's all just made up. It might as well be monopoly money. That's really how the game is played, right? It's just like we decide, and if you think you're going to decide, we'll shut all the shit down. Because no, this is our game, right? And the ability of those Reddit folks to say, simply by virtue of having digital connection with one another, they had a community. Much like my platform has a community. There are 314,000 people over here. We're a small country. We are a small country. What is the people power in a small country? What if we treated digital space like that? What if we leveraged our resource like that? There's nothing that could stop us as a community from doing the exact same thing those folks did. But my point is, I'm not interested in playing in their imaginary system. I'm fine to watch white supremacist delusion take itself down. I'm fine to watch that. That's cute. Carry on. Because sure, most of that shit was white men. Just white men gamers. With a smattering of other people, but it's mostly white men gamers. Go over there and do that, right? So I'm fine to let, much like the insurgency last week, but in a position I prefer better. It was like, white supremacist delusion is gonna come up against itself. It's gonna come up against itself. I'm fine. They could do that. But what I'm saying is that they have the power to do that with their pooling their resources. What do we have the power to do? This is why I talk about buy back Black Debt. Because what we have the power to do is to do what the government won't do. To do what Wall Street won't do. To pull our resources and make new economic models possible. That's what we have the power to do. Because if the GameStop people can do it for GameStop, we can certainly do it for Black people. We can certainly do it for people of color. We can certainly do it for trans people. We can certainly do it for disabled folks. If it's all made up, what are we going to make up? That's the question. Bye, y'all.